Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atmajyotis. Let us continue our contemplation of Sri Dakshinamurthy Stotra. Today the line is 5.2. Nirmalaaya Prashaantaaya Dakssinnaamuurtaye Namah. How do you relate to this? And what is your viewpoint? Shall we begin from you, Shubhaji?
Yes, sir. So Nirmalaaya means purity and Prashaantaaya is absolutely peaceful. So the Dakshinamurthy, who is in the form of knowledge, who takes away the ignorance and is the pure consciousness, is so pristine and pure, and he is absolutely peaceful. That is in a tranquil nature, and he is free from any kind of duality of right and wrong, papa punya, and he is complete. To that Dakshinamurthy, I salute, is what the shloka is about.
And how do you personally relate to this?
The picture shown here is Hamsa. So when we look at Hamsa, Hamsa is known to discriminate or rather separate the milk from the water. So we should have that knowledge of discrimination wherein we can separate the good from the bad and realize that we are the pure self, not this body, mind, intellect. We should have that pure we should be Prashaantaaya, always peaceful, realizing our true self is what I personally feel.
Okay. Thank you, Shubhaji.
Thank you, sir.
Deepaji, what is your viewpoint? Are you there, Deepaji?
Yes, sir. It is a salutation to the purified mind and the tranquil mind, which always thinks right.
Are you saying that it is salutations to the mind? Is that what you're saying?
Purified mind actually will be possible in such a person. So, salutations to that purified mind.
Are you saying that in a sense a purified mind is no separate from the self itself? Is that why you are saying purified mind?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, the same question. How do you relate to this personally?
I'm trying to go towards the purified mind. My mind isn't purified yet. But I can see the purification happening in my mind. When I compare my present mind with the earlier mind, I feel this path has helped me in the purification. And even to be calm, which wasn't possible earlier when dealing with difficult situations.
But here the self, Dakshinamurti, is referred as pure, Nirmala, and stainless. So there is no impurity at all. In that sense, it is being used here. and it is tranquil. It's also very serene. There is no disturbance at all.
That mind must have already undergone what we are all undergoing and attained that. So it's a process.
Is how you see it as of now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deepaji.
Thank you, sir.
Ashwini ji, what is your viewpoint?
So, so the Gyani is pure. He has he's see, we are all we hold on to we have a lot of vasana samskara, not we, sorry. The jiva has vasana samskaras, and it is either in the past or the future. But the Gyani is pure. He no longer has any vasanas. He's always in the present moment. So salutations to that Guru.
Yeah, but how do you personally relate to it?
Vasanashya has to happen, Vijayji. Either both this whatever Guruji is teaching, the Shakti Darshana and the both are required. The Atma Darshana and the Shakti Darshana. So Atma Darshana is through Jnana, the Shiva side. In the coming videos we will see that the right brain and the left brain, and how he explains how left brain is Shiva, right brain is Shakti. So through Jnana you have Atma Darshana. You understand who am I, and through Shakti Darshana all the vasanas and samskaras get purified and you become more and more pure. So both are required for this. So currently, yeah, I'm also doing the Shakti Darshana practices daily, and seen a lot of results. All the people who are doing it also in the group, we have seen a lot tremendous effect of that. Just in these 15-20 days, we have seen amazing lot of changes which is happening within us and the people around us also.
Very nice. Thank you, Ashwini-ji. Shailaja-ji, what is your viewpoint?
Sir, actually, I can relate. Even this swan is, I feel it is enlightened and it is pure wherever it stays. Even I can relate this swan to a lotus. I think, sir. Wherever it is, its true nature it retains. That's what we have to learn from this one, I think. Wherever we are around what we stay, but we have to maintain that, and we have to carry forward. That's what I see in this. We have to be pure and peaceful.
That's how you relate to it. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Shailaja-ji.
Thank you.
Saravanan-ji, your viewpoint?
Yeah. So these qualities, the purities, stainless and tranquil, that these are the qualities of the true self, the Atman. And by pointing these, basically that's the one. That's the only one which is real, and I'm saluting to that, and that is my real nature as Atman as well. Anything, and the reason is it is the only one, so there is nothing that can make it impure or get stained or disturbed. Okay, so how can one realize that is by getting Chitta Shuddhi. Right? Once the impurity of mind is gone, then one can realize these qualities, and these are the qualities. These are our original qualities, and the only reason if one is not realizing is because of the impurities in the mind.
Wonderful. Anything more?
Yeah.
Thank you. Padmaji?
Yes, sir. I think my view is also similar to what everyone has expressed here. Salutations to the pure and stainless. Pure, stainless, and tranquil is my essence. I am that. So, how I see it is when salutations to that means when I abide in that, when I abide by that. So when I am established in that and then perform, then I am like this swan, where nothing can corrupt me, nothing can stain me, nothing can disturb the tranquility that I have within me. So that is how I see, sir.
Very nice.
And just to say, who is saluting to whom? It's the one who is suffering, that is saluting to the real one.
Correct.
There is a duality in it. So salutations to that. So
Yeah, I thought you will come up. Whenever I write the answer, I always think this question is going to come up from.
yeah, as I was trying to explain, okay, I'm going to explain two roles. As the pure self, this is the answer. As the jiva, this is the answer.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, absolutely correct. But I wanted to bring that point out that purity of thoughts lead to purity of actions as well, right? So when your thoughts are pure, you perform actions where you don't have anything to gain. It is for the well-being of everyone, including you. So that is where I was connecting the actions, the purity of the thoughts and mind to the swan itself. So I had no other way of putting it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
There are in our scriptures, broadly, two kinds of knowledge can be found. A statement of fact, this is how it is. And then you can also see a process of attaining. So in other words, biryani is nice, is a statement of fact. How do I make biryani is a process of recipe. So the statement of fact, you and I may battle with it initially. You and I may argue with it. Hey, how come I ate the biryani in that place? It was not at all good. No, it is not correct. Biryani is nice. So like that, we may argue with it. However, the statement of fact, or the truth remains the truth. Whether I know it or not, whether I accept it or not, it is my problem.
No problem.
So the recipe then, therefore, is the way by which I can take certain steps and I can come to the same conclusion. And a recipe is not necessarily a surely to work, because there are so many other circumstantial pieces that may even make a well-prepared recipe to backfire. So the step-by-step recipe of how to make the biryani may have been given. But in my own understanding or misunderstanding, I may bungle up one step to the other. So I may add the salt maybe at the very beginning, and I may bungle up the whole process. Whereas the salt may be required to add at a particular point in time, at a particular condition. So like that, a recipe gives me a sense of how do I reach there. But here, what is Shankaracharya ji is giving? He is pointing to your and my eternal nature. It is like asking the question, can I make water more water? Water is water. Can I ever make it more water, less water? Can I make gold any better? Gold is gold. So like that, your eternal nature is pure. Your eternal nature is tranquil. And there is nothing to be done to be pure and to be tranquil. However, depending upon the conditioning of the mind, ultimately, where do you and I see this?
The mind.
The instrument called as mind.
In the mind.
Depending upon the color of the mind may get into a binding that, oh, I have done so many things, and therefore now I've gotten into these many kind of feelings. So therefore, I am not pure. So the I am not pure is the bonding or the binding that appears in the mind. So in that, there are two aspects. One aspect is impure. So there is a certain phenomena that has happened, and there is a certain judgment about that phenomena. As an example, so somebody may get into a feeling of guilt that, as an example, I'm saying, yesterday I was eating my favorite chocolate. My child came and I didn't want to share with my child, and I hid the chocolate, and the child came and the child went away. Then I continued to eat. So a certain action was performed, and in my mind, it may leave an impression that what I did was incorrect. So there's a judgment about a certain action that has happened, and that judgment is stored. So that whatever that happened, however it happened, it happened. But now, it happened back then, but now in the present, I have a kind of a thinking that what happened is not correct. I should not have behaved that way. So that shouldn't have has become now a source of the impurity. So the behavior is being judged in the current. And whose behavior? A entity, whoever it was, maybe mother role is the one which hid that chocolate, or maybe the father role, or maybe the friend role, doesn't matter. But as somebody, some action was taken, And that memory is what I'm clinging on to whenever I make a statement, I am impure. It is a judgment about something that has happened in the past. Or by deeply connecting to my nature of the body. So I am this body. How can body be pure? So like that, the judgment about whatever the knowledge I have about my own body. So see, look, in the body, there are so many things that happen, and the body has so many ups and downs, and so many things that, we don't even discuss in the public. So how can I be pure? Or how can my own thought process be pure? Is where there's a deep conditioning. The guilt consciousness, the impurity consciousness, and it might have come in because of various kinds of situations. Depends, especially depending upon the nature of the body. As the body undergoes changes, maybe somebody at some point in time might have made a comment, and that comment might have left a deep impression. And now that comment may have been forgotten, but the impression it has left is still there. So all this guilt consciousness is the one which takes one away from the reality. And here, as a way of teaching, Shankaracharya ji is pointing to your true nature. Now it is up to you and me to recognize what Shankaracharya ji is pointing. How can I be pure? Oh, I get disturbed so easily. How can I be really tranquil? So like that, by showing the truth, it's holding a mirror so that I can see and correct my own thinking. I can correct my own understanding. Hari Om. Any additional points or any questions? Anyone?
So it is only my collection of thoughts, or my thoughts which has come all the way throughout my life, that is causing the problem of guilt, right?
Right now, Shubhaji, right now, you and I are sitting. At this very moment, is there something called as a good or bad? Right now, something is happening. In this very moment. You are speaking, I'm speaking, others are there. So air is blowing, light is there. This very moment, is there something good or bad?
No, nothing.
However, I can create a judgment in my mind right now. For example, this is so harsh sunlight. So I've created something called as harshness about something that is currently simply happening. And now I've gotten into I have to get rid of this. Or, for example, like I said, suddenly the memory pops up about what I did yesterday, about hiding the chocolate. As a child came, maybe I was eating and then I simply hid and I didn't even open my mouth in the fear of being found out. So maybe that memory pops up, and it's the judgment about the memory in the current moment that makes me feel, oh, shouldn't have done like that. Otherwise, this moment is as wonderful as it ever can be. How next moment? Same. Next moment? Same. But in those moments, if I bring up my different aspect, then I'm spoiling.
But how not to bring that up? It keeps coming, no?
It comes. But to realize that, what comes is not you. You are the one
Yeah.
who is seeing.
Yes. Yes.
So that
Yeah.
is the way to
Mm.
train your mind to be free.
But it's okay that it keeps coming, but the way I handle it is what is important.
There is no way to
Okay.
help because the whatever has been
Yeah.
stored has been stored. Done is
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Done is done.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ah.
so I hit the chocolate, I hit the chocolate. I scolded, I
Ah.
scolded. Okay, I
Ah.
had a tantrum, I had a tantrum. I stole,
Yes.
I stole. Um,
Mm.
I murdered, I murdered. Okay, so like that, it can be any degree of action, but it is all in the mind that I cling on to that. For
Mm.
example, for somebody, even a murder may look like okay, I did a very pure act. For somebody, as
Mm.
much as hitting somebody may become a very deep
Yeah.
guilt trip.
Yes.
So it is
Yes.
not
Yes.
the severity of the action, it is
Ah.
my judgment, my attitude towards what has happened
Ah.
that binds me.
Yeah. Because a lot of cases, even the small things affect us and we feel guilty about it. And I have seen so many people who have done bigger crimes, but they are like, okay, I did what I have to do. I did right. So I'm like, okay, is that too much guilt of mine that is driving me like this?
Yeah.
We
So
always tend to
guilt, therefore,
question.
so what is guilt therefore? Guilt is my current moment, I am thinking about that particular thing in a certain way. And how, so for example, I can become guilty about almost anything.
Anything, yeah.
Almost anything. So for example, you can feel guilty right now by thinking that, "Arey, my family is about to wake up. What kind of a mother I am? I'm not even there to make them some coffee or tea. And I'm
Yes.
sitting here simply talking some philosophy." You can get into that guilt trip right now if you want to.
Correct.
So I'm such a bad mother. Yo, lousy mother. So like that, I can once I start throwing myself into a pit,
Mm.
I can dig a deeper pit.
Correct. Yes. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Shall we end this contemplation here then? Hari Om.
Hari Om, Vijayji. Satyalata here.
Hari Om Satyaji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. For once, I am not feeling guilty that I have not been here for so long, but yet I come up all of a sudden.
You are here now is the
That's all. That's
important.
all is the matter. That's all. And to come into this session, it's like this is the only real thing. I mean, anything else can waver, but this is not. If I have not come, it is due to some circumstances or anything. But again, when I'm coming, there is no guilt. But Vijayji, one thing is there.
Yeah.
Normally, for anything that I do, I don't have a guilt generally because maybe it is ego or whatever. I think I'm right, just as anyone thinks they are right. I feel that why is the other person not guilty? They have done this, they have done that, they have done so many things, but they don't even feel the sense of guilt or uh, being sorry for what they have done, or even the slightest inclination towards being apologetic, or even to make things good. That sense of guilt is not at all there, and that is my expectation, that the other person should be guilty of what they have done and caused the damage caused, and they should be responsible for the repair. So what do I do about it?
These are all again a human concept, no? You may remember that the one of the most beautiful scenes in that movie called what is that, Pi, where the tiger and he get lost in that, what is Life of Pi, Life of Pi. So in the Life of Pi, they both of them become so deep friends, and he is by catching the fish and everything is caring for the tiger. And the last moment comes, when they land onto the ocean, onto the beach, and the tiger simply jumps onto the beach without even turning towards him, simply walks away. It just stretches and simply walks away. But he's feeling, yo, one last time it should have looked at me, it should have thanked me, or it should have hugged me, or all these are human concepts of, or in other words, it's you and I who have this attitude towards how a particular situation should be handled. So, for example, it's like saying, okay, so right now, sun god is shining and the light is there. And it is the sun god's light that is actually making all of us live our life the way we are living. Without that, nothing can happen. But if he gets caught up in the attitude that only if Satyaji thanks me that I will shine, then, he's caught up. He's not free. So at the end of the day, the freedom is for you. Freedom is for me. From what? From based on the way I respond, the way I see the situation. So I can get caught up by having all these expectations. That first of all, I can get caught up in my own guilt consciousness, or I can get caught up in my own ego consciousness, like you rightly said. Oh, I am correct. That person is the one who should have thanked me. And for example, somebody may even say thank you, and I may interpret the tone is not correct. Is this how one says thank you? One should bend a little. One should have that little bit of niceness in their voice. So like that, I may get into 100 ways of interpreting the situation, and I get caught. So the question is therefore, should I get caught or should I be free? And how do I be free? Is when I stop having expectations about how the outcome should be.
Yes, Vijay, very true. But the whole, just as Shobhaji was just now saying, it keeps coming up now. She says, that keeps coming up. There is always an internal dialogue. Um, at the same time, when there is a situation, there are two internal dialogues which are happening. One is what Prabhuji said. One is what the other person has said. Both are happening. My left brain or right brain, I don't know which one is popping up, which dialogue. But this internal dialogue, it is like a Kurukshetra. There are Kauravas and there are Pandavas, and the war is happening. So the war happens for, it's not minutes, it's not hours, but days together, the war keeps on happening. But as Prabhuji rightly says, he is saying that I am hitting myself with myself. So I'm not hitting anyone, or I'm not saying that out to anyone. But what is happening is a continuous internal dialogue with all the external things that I'm anyway doing. So it becomes, the stress comes out of a place where it is a place of helplessness. And I know that, change will not happen. Change myself, that is the priority. And so as Prabhuji says, change what you can and accept what you can't, and pray God to give to understand the difference between these two. And the other thing he has added now is that change starts from yourself. So that is a biggest point here. So even if I'm wanting to change myself in this process, suppose I start now, when I sit to contemplate on myself, that is the real self, even then this keeps popping up, saying that if this is right, or if this situation is right, I will sit and the whole mental drama will fall down, it will subside, and immediately I can anyway be free. So, and then immediately the thought comes, why should that subside? Because that is not me, and even whoever is saying all this is not me. So I'm already free. So I know both these things as knowledge, but the wisdom of applying it to the situation here is not arising. I am trying, in fact, practically also, I'm trying to make this situation like I don't have anything to do with the situation or the outcome of the situation or what I feel about the situation. It is I who is beyond all this, who is seeing all this as Sakshi. I know all these. So as strongly I can recommend that I am not the self, or recommend I can say I can tell everything what Prabhuji says or you say. I can quote, but at the same time, that strongly I even feel that, if this situation is better, if this small situation, and I always feel that it is in my control, I just tell it or express that, and things will change because it has changed many times. So in that situation, I always think that something is in my hands. At least the expression part is in my hands. The outcome may not be. So why don't I express? Why should I stop myself? How to practice stopping myself without being internally disturbed?
See, stopping is not the solution. For example, one another simpler way of understanding stress is there is something happening and there is a certain response that is emerging. Not even responding creates all this internal stress. So, for example, let's take a situation where somebody is, let's say, accusing you of something that, let's say, you have not done. And in the name of being silent, if you are silent, but internally the dialogue is happening, then it is not healthy at all. So, what is really being silent means when that identification with what is happening has completely dropped, then it is a natural silence that prevails. There's nothing to be done. It is not an effort-oriented silence. Oh, I have to be silent. Now, Prabhuji has taught, I have to be now Sakshi. Oh, he's scolding so much. So that dialogue is not healthy. So what is a more healthier approach? Is to look at, okay, what is being said and what is the right response among the 10 different ways of responding and among the 10 different responses that I can offer. What is the right response through which I can bring out whatever that I am feeling? Hey, I have not done this. This is how this happened. Can I present that information without feeling agitated, without showing that agitation in my voice or in my body language? That itself is a good practice. So that at least alleviates, see, the energy is rising. And if that energy is not expressed, it will become something else that you and I know. It's like a cooker. If I don't remove the whistle, it will build up inside. So that is not a healthy thing. So that is not what is being recommended. So that's why that particular statement you made is very important, which is, you please perform the action, but are you reacting or are you responding should be the first focus. Can I respond means what? I'm conscious of what I heard. I'm conscious of what I'm seeing. And I'm also conscious of what is the next step I'm taking. Means what? What it may lead to. So when I'm aware and I'm thinking through this and I'm offering my action, then that is a response. So first thing is, can I act? Please act, but consciously. But also remember, deep down, whatever that is happening is not something that can ever affect you. And that recognition is the one which drops this worry about, am I acting correctly? Am I acting incorrectly? So you are the Sakshi. It is not that you have to be the Sakshi, you have to become the Sakshi. You are the witness. Initially, just to bring the distance, it's given as a practice. But reality, truth of the matter is, you are the Sakshi. You are ever the witness. You are never the change that is happening. So this as it deepens, it naturally then leaves you internally peaceful. Externally, you may have to act depending upon the particular situation.
Yeah, Vijayji. Generally, out of at least thanks to all this teachings and everything, it is never a reaction. The response is only, it is just a response to a reaction. Generally, because not everyone is listens to these things. So it is generally a response to a reaction, but the impressions that it creates, all the impressions that anything creates, that is the internal dialogue. It is not that I could have done anything better, because in my opinion, um, I don't react. It is not a reaction, because whatever I'm saying, I say it very consciously, and there is a time gap also which I take, because that spur of the moment, so blurting it out, or that doesn't happen. Maybe out of listening to all this, or consciously, when I'm speaking, I am speaking consciously. Suddenly I speak something and I say sorry, that situation doesn't generally arise, because I know if I say this is going to happen. I know the consequence of each sentence and the way I say it also. So that part is never a situation. But yeah, after this whole thing, the dialogue that I listen to, it is not the dialogue that I say or how I say. That doesn't create a problem in me, but there is a reaction that I'm looking at outside. So that reaction and the whole dialogue that happens outside, this is a big mark that happens inside. That mark, what happens is the general silence where nothing is happening outside, then nothing will happen inside. That is a normal scenario. But after anything like that, suppose there is a discussion with office colleague, or in an office or anything like that, what happens is, again, the situation to be normal. Okay, I learned some lessons out of that. Okay, from now on, let me be like this, or let me internally be calm. So this is my only solution. This is something I clearly know. But when I am being calm, as you said, forced calmness cannot work. I can't force myself into calmness, which is called suppression. So it should come through an understanding. So suppose today is day one of my, trying to become tranquil, trying to be very calm. This trying should not be there, because the whole process is effortless. It should be effortless. But slowly, I want to understand very deeply that, okay, this is happening. So what? So what? It is like, somewhere in Japan, something is happening. You don't sit and worry here, because you are looking it at a distance. So that distance from something which is happening just an inch away from me or to me in the mind. Okay, that distance, I should be able to create it and look at it with a difference. That is different. I am different.
Correct.
So that practice to, suppose today is day one, till the time I totally, that understanding has to sink in me so naturally. Just as when I'm speaking, I say, even if I'm arguing, I know I'm consciously arguing. I know what I'm saying. This generally happens. I don't blurt out something and repent later, because I clearly know that I'm saying this and I want to say this. I know the consequences also. So that part I'm very conscious. But after that, what happens? Because the other set of things is the reactions that come. It may be what I expect, what I don't expect also. So whatever it is, the other part of the consequence and this whole drama that has happened, the movie that has played, it is sitting, creating that impressions. Every 5 minutes, that dialogue comes up. And simultaneously Prabhuji dialogues also will come up. So this positive, negative, it keeps on coming up.
That's
So
what
how do I
I
start
may
with
want
that
to refer,
understanding?
Satyaji. That's what I may refer to as a learning process.
Ah, yeah.
See, you've learned the art of cooking, but to be a chef, to be a master chef, you have to go through various cooking situations. No,
Yes.
you know the art of cooking. You know the 6 basic ingredients that make up the food. You know the order in which biryani has to be made. But the circumstances in which you're making the biryani, the number of people for whom you're making the biryani, and availability or non-availability of certain ingredients to make that biryani, and how do you still ensure that the biryani is made well, all these is in the context of that particular situation. So just because I have the knowledge of how to make biryani doesn't mean that today, for example, as an example, let's say there is no salt at all. The first time I'm encountering not there being no salt. But how do I ensure that the saltiness is still coming into the biryani? Is where I become a chef, right? That is a process. That's an ever continuing process. So so the realization is one thing. How do you apply the realization is another thing. So when you apply the realization, depending upon the response you see, you know whether it has worked or not worked. And especially you as a teacher, you know whether your teaching is working or not by looking at the body language of the children, by looking at their test result, by looking at the feedback that they're sharing with you. So slowly, you tune to see, okay, why I did hear this particular feedback. Why was somebody feeling so lethargic? So you understand, oh, okay, so maybe I jumped directly into the matter. Maybe I should have given a 2-minute some kind of a game. So like that you start discovering, right? The process of working with the children. So this is very much like that. You know what you have to teach, but the way to teach, so the way to live life with the realization is a continuous process of learning, relearning. There, even a jnani, for example, has to undergo that. See, for example, a jnani teaches in a certain way. Some students take it in another way, and they come and let's say you also would have known so many situations, even among various disciples of Prabhuji. Some of them come and yell. Now, that particular situation has taught something of importance about what to say and what not to say to each one involved in that situation. So the situation cannot be avoided. Situation is there to again come back to me as a guide in how to be and how not to be in different situations in life. Does it mean that I know everything about every situation? No. No. But can I be free in every situation? Yes. Can I be tranquil in every situation? Yes. But do I know how to handle the situation well? No. Does it mean that just because I am tranquil, that my child with whom I'm encountering a new situation will also be tranquil just because of whatever I say? No, not at all.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's a continuous process.
It's a continuous process, and I there is no way to change that. If in every situation, whatever you say, everybody becomes tranquil, Krishna would have then, enlightened the whole world. Krishna spoke, only one fellow called Arjuna apparently listened. So many millions were there, no, around him at that time. Why did that enlightenment did not occur in Duryodhana? But Krishna is not worried about whether Duryodhana is getting enlightened or not. Who is seeking? Arjuna. So his focus, whole and soul focus was on Arjuna. And he himself is free. And that is also the truth of the matter. All right. So Is there anything else anybody wants to say or ask?
Yeah. So I also thought about this. Whatever one sees outside, however the scene might be, it is still the the how do you put it? It is still the seer who's solely responsible for how, like, for interpreting the scene and reacting to the scene.
Correct.
So in that way also, still I am the only one.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
scenes around me
Fundamentally boils down to you and me alone.
alone.
The only
There is no
individual who can
other.
get me is I. See, in my mind, I am thinking the other person is angry. The other person may be such a great actor that when they show anger, uh, I don't even know the difference between anger and them, right? So they may be such a great actor, like how you see so many great actors.
Yeah,
I am
villains.
the one who is thinking that, oh, they got angry, they got angry, they got angry. For all that it is, they may be simply acting.
Yes.
So there is
And
no
he
way
may be
for me
acting
to.
with ease, completely tranquil, and like he may be
Yeah.
and
So
the
because
seer.
I don't know, I don't recognize, I get bound in my mind. They got angry, they got pissed, or they got, they are not showing guilt, or they are not being sorry. All that is entirely internal dialogue.
Because I am the one who is interpreting the scene.
Is it not?
Yeah, I think this helps when Tarunanji is saying there is no other. I am the one projecting. I need not even say projecting. I am the one who is interpreting. So internal dialogue is again internal dialogue only. It is not something which is really happening. It is my not having control over what the mind is constantly repeating and saying. Yeah, the other person may be acting. That is a good actor. It is a movie. Okay, I can see that as a movie. And yeah, there are times when we cry when we are seeing a movie, a sob story. So why do we cry? It is because I maybe took it too personally.
Yes.
That maybe I related to that character there, or I was too deeply involved in the whole story somewhere. If I in between, suppose I pause and say, "This is a movie. This is a movie." I need not be afraid of a horror movie. I need not cry for a sob story. I can just be just a witness to seeing all that is happening. So yeah, I think this helps. There is no other. It is only me who is beating myself with myself.
Yes.
And it's okay to cry. The thing is, you can see yourself crying and realize that I am not crying right now. There is a feeling of sadness, or maybe sometimes you cry out of complete joy also. That feeling is expressing through this vehicle called body mind. Let it express rather than it being pent up. So Sakshi doesn't mean I have to be stern.
Yeah.
Simply means I am a child. Like a child cries, a child laughs, a child shows anger, a child thanks, a child jumps, a child does 100 things. But the child is a child is a child. None of the things that the child does, especially little children, they pee and they poop and they are unaffected, the parents are unaffected. Because there is no judgment about what has happened.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Vijay and Sarunanji also, because I interrupted a flow that was happening.
No, it's perfect.
Topic.
It is, you're talking about the tranquilities. There is a disturbance We have to say, if I feel it's disturbed, then I'm not tranquil. And Sunday, 6 o'clock.
The thing is,
Yeah.
you know, it is not that the first time that we are hearing all this, right? You
Yeah.
go to any
Yeah.
temple, you go to any place, you know, it is written, you are that, you are that very source of tranquility. But why does it not register? Because you know, we don't examine it from the standpoint of, okay, what is making, you know, the tranquility go away, right? So therefore, both the statement of the fact and the recipe of, okay, how do I prove it to myself that it is indeed the case, is very important. Without that examination, it is a mere, oh, that it is, that is what that scripture says, that is what Sadhguru says. So therefore, it is very important. This process is very important. This is the process.
Yes, yes, Vijay. Thank you.
All right. So with that, we will end contemplation on this shloka. Hari Om.